Hello everyone, this is the 6th online tutorial video for class 9 history. We are going to start this Russian Revolution chapter, which is the second chapter in your syllabus. Let's begin. Now in the previous chapter you have learnt about how the French Revolution gave birth to the ideas of liberty, equality, freedom, individual rights, etc. Now the French Revolution opened up a possibility of creating a dramatic change in the way society was structured and how society worked. Before the 18th century, society was broadly divided into estates and orders. I am talking about European society, estates and orders, and it was the aristocracy and the church. The first order was the church, the second order was the aristocratic people. They controlled society, they controlled the economy, and so on and so forth. These two orders also did not have to pay any tax. So suddenly after the revolution, it seemed possible to change all of this. In many parts of the world, including Europe and Asia, new ideas about individual rights and who controls social power, these ideas began to be discussed. Now in India, for example, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Henry de Rousseau, they talked about the significance of the French Revolution, and many others debated the ideas of post-revolutionary Europe. After the revolution, what would Europe do? The developments in the colonies in turn reshaped these ideas of societal change. So these ideas of societal change, which actually came from Europe to Asia, the situation in the Asian colonies, the situation in Asia, the situation in Africa, in the colonies, they molded these ideas into their own versions of liberty, equality, freedom, individual rights, etc., and fought for these rights. Now, not everyone in Europe wanted the society to change. Responses varied from different classes of the society. Like some people wished that change was necessary, but it should come slowly. Change should be coming gradually to the society. Some were on the opinion that no, the gradual change is not the way for change to come. Change should be sudden, change should be very quick, because if gradual change comes, then the powerful people of the society will never let their powers be reduced. And some people, they were on the opinion that no, society does not need to change at all. What is there should be there, what is going on should be going on. Society doesn't need a change. Now these people were conservatives. The people who wanted a gradual change, a slow change, they were the liberals. The people who wanted a radical change, a sudden change, they were the radicals. Now, what did these terms, what did these words, they really mean in the context of the time? What separated these strands of politics and what linked them together? So, what's the common ground between these three thoughts? What is the difference between these three thoughts? We must remember that these terms do not mean the same thing in all the contexts in all the time. Now, who were the liberals? Liberals wanted a nation which tolerates all religions. We should remember that at this time, European states usually discriminated in favor of one religion. Now, Britain favored the Church of England, Austria and Spain favored the Catholic Church. So there was a difference between the British Church and the Austrian Church in their different outlooks. There was a difference between Protestant Christianity and Catholic Christianity. So there was this sectarian difference between Christianities. Liberals also opposed the uncontrolled power of dynastic rulers. Liberals also opposed the kings. They wanted to safeguard the rights of individuals against governments. They argued for a representative elected parliamentary government subject to law interpreted by a well-trained judiciary, the court system, that was independent of rulers and officials. The court system would be an independent working body which will not be influenced by the king or his officials. However, they were not all of them were Democrats. The liberals, all of them were not Democrats. They did not believe in universal adult franchise. They did not believe in the voting rights for all people. They felt men of property, people or men who have property, they only should have the right to vote. They also did not want the voting rights for women. They also did not want voting rights for people who did not have any property. So these were the liberals. Now, who were radicals? Radicals wanted a nation in which government was based on the majority of a country's population. Many supported women suffragist movements, like many of the radicals, they supported women's movements, they supported the feminist movements, they supported the women's struggle for achieving the right to vote. Unlike liberals, they opposed the privileges of landowners and wealthy factory owners. So the advantages in the society that rich landowners or rich factory owners, they get the advantages from the society by being rich. Radicals were opposed to that. They were not against the existence of private property, but they disliked that concentration of property in the hands of a few. So radicals were not against having property, but radicals were against having most of the property in the hands of a few rich men, while the rest of the people were very poor. That was what the radicals were against. They were not against having private property at all. They were against property being controlled by very few people who were at the top of the society. Now we come to conservatives. Conservatives were opposed to both radicals and liberals. After the French Revolution, even conservatives had opened their minds to the need for a change. Earlier in the 18th century, conservatives had been generally opposed to the ideas of change. By the 19th century, they accepted that some change was necessary, but believed that the past had to be respected, traditions had to be respected, and change had to be brought about through a slow process. Such differing ideas about society and societal change, these ideas clashed during the social and political turmoil that followed the French Revolution. The clash between the liberals and the conservatives, we already have done that in the previous chapter. The various attempts at revolution and national transformation in the 19th century helped define the limits and potential of these political tendencies. So what followed in the 19th century, these actually helped these tendencies, political tendencies like liberalism, conservatism, radicalism. 19th century shaped these political tendencies into concrete political ideas, and people began to understand what is what, which political tendency is strong, which political tendency is harmful. People began to understand the advantages and limitations of these three tendencies. So that was the first part of the chapter. We have begun the first part. We did that introduction. Basically, we did the introduction today. In the next video, we will continue with this chapter. Till then, bye.